me see. Okay,
Those
meeting is live. Cool.
To make you the host right now.
Yeah, bet.
And then I got my little
So
note.
good to see you though.
Hey, so good to see you too. It's been way too.
Presents, and don't forget to meeting is live. Cool.
To make you the host right now.
Okay, cool. Okay, bet. I see it now, and let me see if I can pass on some screen sharing.
I'm gonna drop off this into the chat. This
Let me know if you see the screen share option. Hidari. I don't want to too many people in the room, but perfect. They won't be able to see that. You gotta post it one more time once I let them in. But yeah.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
can start that song, I'll then let people in.
Oh, here comes the song. Let's see, I have to share screen options, right? Because I'm just doing audio.
Well, you might need to. Yeah, you can try to just do audio. Sometimes it makes you do the screen. You can just like maybe
Let's
out of
do
that screen.
it. Here it is, share screen. Just the audio.
Sounding like a pro to me.
Here it comes. Okay.
Okay, cool. It's okay that you're gonna see your screen too for a second. It's totally fine.
It's chill. Okay, here it comes.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna turn the volume down.
That volume is great, actually.
Like that, cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna oh, turn the music down just a little bit because I can't.
The music's on.
Good.
Coming in.
I'm gonna let people in. Great, and then you can repost the name in the chat while we welcome people.
Okay, cool. And then do you want me? I kick it off, right? Or do you want to start with the intro?
Yeah. I'm gonna welcome people in as they're coming on in. I think folks are coming on in. Welcome y'all. We're just gonna let you hear this music for a moment. Talking.
Girls of my color find something else to be. I'm better.
In the chat, Darian's gonna post a link think about to post leading into the landing it on. Right? We can't acknowledge the built environment without acknowledging the
Oh, grandpa. Here we go. Okay.
I got it. You'll see it, but you got it now. Put it in the chat. If you don't already know, you can look to find out.
Bottom, you linger over me. I got all this space to fill. Something only bodies here. Promiscuous holiness, slope is slippery. I got all this time to kill. Something like a prayer to kneel to. Lay on my pillow. You think I'm so weak. Soft as my skin is, my powers discreet. I'm better.
I know every room that they set up is a little bit different, so hopefully y'all can. Okay, perfect. You can message in the chat. I know sometimes it's like a host.
Wicked birds, you left me so.
Let people come on in. Both my keynote and just other places in life. Greet you all and welcome you into what will be actually a really reflective moment and not only words based. There'll be some writing, there'll be some embodiment, some breathing. If the chat's not working for you, we encourage you to consider and think and sit with where you are. Coming in from the game. And we'd love to see your videos. Like, play. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep us connected as much as we can. Hey Marcella, beautiful. Please do share further if y'all have other spaces that you're aware that you're calling in from. We'll get started here pretty soon. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And please make sure it's to everyone. As much as I personally want to know specifically, it's lovely to hear from other folks. It's not a direct message. Gotta be. And I'm secrets from here. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to welcome folks by name right now. Welcome Anita, Christina, Heather, Julia, Kia, Laura. Y'all could be anywhere, and you're here with us. And this is gonna be such a treat. Welcome Marcella again, Lauren's proud mother. Okay, come on, Lauren's proud mother. Olivia, Sarah. Shout out to Sarah for the work. Sherry. Yeah, I think that might be everybody. Nina, Champ. Maybe I didn't say your name. Welcome, Champ. I'm really, really happy to have y'all here. And so lovely to see the native folks represented in the chat. We need y'all to call them in because they're not here to call themselves in. Sorry, Champ, you're probably really over people being like, welcome, Champ. Sorry, but I had to do it. So beautiful. I know it's late, and we don't want to put y'all to too much quiet time, at this hour, because I don't know I don't know exactly which time zones map to the spaces that you've let us know you're pulling in from, but it is honestly, like I said, so beautiful to have you here. And what I was gonna do was send it over to Hadari to actually. I feel like I've introduced myself through a long conversation with some of you who were in that larger room. So I wanted to pass it to Hadari to welcome us in and encourage y'all to start to get into conversation with us. Welcome, Hadari.
Thank you, Jay Marie. I'm still sent with so many gems that you dropped and shared from the presentation, from the keynote, and really, really grateful. Yeah, welcome everybody. Are there any videos that are popped up, or is it just us that got videos right now? I understand.
They enjoying our pretty faces, but I look forward to some cameras that might work. You know what I'm saying? Come on, pull up, y'all. No pressure. We just love to see.
Really though, I'd love to feel your essences in whatever ways you want, even if that means just letting your video pop up and seeing your little avatar picture. I'm still getting used to this digital world and what it means to be present in this way. So it's beautiful to see everybody in the chat. Yeah, just giving thanks to the lands that we're on. Something that is really sitting with me in this moment is that connection between land, between body, between space. And so, yeah, thank y'all for shouting out the spaces that you're tuning in from. I want to start by first giving gratitude for all that had to happen for us to make it to this moment. I want to invite us into a moment of slowing down, because we be moving fast out here, right? In this age of Aquarius, with so many things we have to do, so many places we have to be, all of this have to, should do, need to energy. And I want to really bring us into a place of really slowing down to feel where we're at. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to either lower your gaze or close your eyes if that feels safe for you. Yeah, really allow yourself to drop into your body more deeply. And for me, what that means is being able to feel my booty on this little twisty seat. It means I can feel the swiggly kind of grass-like carpet beneath my toes. Just allowing myself to feel and to feel my own presence in this sacred spaceship body that carries me everywhere I travel through all spaces. I invite you, if you're comfortable, to place your hands on your heart. Are you able to feel your heartbeat? Are you able to feel your heartbeat in your palm? Can you feel that vibration echoing and moving through your arm? Maybe you can feel that beat that drum echo throughout your entire body if you get still enough. Do you think you can sense your blood flowing from your heart? Are you able to sense all the tiny neurons and electrons and protons dancing in electricity and ionic exchange in your body, creating the miracle that is your life? And there are no wrongs here. I'm inviting you to just notice. So maybe you notice some tension in certain parts of your body as you slow down. Maybe you stretch your neck out a little bit in that process. Maybe you sense ease in certain places of your body. Notice that too. And I'm just gently rubbing my heart space and giving thanks to all that happens behind the scenes that I'm not really conscious of all the time. I invite you to place your other hand, if you're comfortable, right by your belly button, right below it, in that belly space, in that creative space, in that releasing space. Yourself take, just feel the weight of your essence in your body. Breathe into your hands. Bring your awareness there. And from this place, I'd love for you to imagine a cord, or maybe it's roots, or maybe it's a thread, or maybe it's a string stretching from the base of your spine all the way down into through your hardwood floor, through your tile, through your carpet, through the cement, right to the earth beneath you, the earth that is always beneath you. Maybe it's colorful, maybe it's purple, maybe it's red, maybe it feels like a river. All is good. Allow that to stretch deeply and for it to be held in all directions, surrounded in warm darkness, expansive darkness, connected. And from that place, allow yourself to imagine energy flowing upward, back through that vine, through those roots, through that cord, through that string of your choice, all the way back up into the base of your spine, into your hand that is by your belly, up above your belly, in between your ribs, through your solar plexus, up into your chest, into your heart, into your other hand, rising into your throat, rising more in between your eyes, into that inner sight, into that knowing, and stretching above, all the way up to the stars, like a beam of light. And your body safely in between a bridge between all of this energy that is always available to you. That is you. And from this place, we're going to go ahead and I invite you to take 3 breaths. We're going to take 3 inhales, and we're going to release with sound. So you can let your hands go at this point. I'm going to shake them off. But you're going to go ahead and breathe in, and then you're going to let out sound. So you could be like, you could be like, you could be like, you could be like, oh. Whatever your body needs is perfectly fine. So we're going to do 3 of those. So go ahead and inhale. And exhale with sound. Loosen that jaw up. Loosen those lips up. And we got 2 more. Go ahead and inhale. And exhale. Maybe let your shoulders bounce. Let yourself adjust to feeling that energy, that increased presence and awareness in your body. That connection, that power through connection and relationship. And we're going to do 1 more. Inhale, inhale. And exhale. All right, I'm going to go ahead and rub my chest out, kind of pat out. Brushing is a really, really fun practice. Just waking up the cells, all the little teeny tiny parts of us. Releasing the layers that we don't need as we get clearer in our path and how to better show up in space. Peeling them all off. I don't hear y'all, but I can feel y'all, so we in it. Perfect. And to close out, we're going to do 2 more breaths, just some inhale and some release through a little bit of Qigong. So we're going to inhale while bringing the energy up our bodies, and then we're going to bring it down, just in this motion right here. Up, yep, and then down. So the inhale, we'll do 4 of these actually. I like 4s for foundations. So we're going to go ahead and inhale. And then imagine a river flowing over, and exhale. That's perfect. And go ahead and inhale. And exhale. And 2 more. And last one. Perfect. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Vandari. Thank you. I hope that all are feeling present at whatever the hour it is for you right now. We're so happy to have you here. This is looking like a rich group. So I hope, I don't know when the last time was that you got to be that still for that amount of time, but I hope that washed over you and that was something that you got to drop into. It's one thing to talk about embodiment, right? And it's very much another to practice it, right? So I hope that, those of you who were at my keynote can track it coming here, and that whether you were there or not, you're able to just take the richness of what it's like to be in a Black gender expansive body and just take the joy that hopefully is coursing through your body by way of the permission that we are offering you and through our bodies. So there's a lot of ways this could go. Literally anything could happen right now, y'all. Anything, right? And so what I wanted to present us to was some questions as an opportunity to drop in there. Some questions that I had from the end of my keynote. And I also wanted to present us to, just the agency of sharing, right? Zoom can be tricky to be present on, can be odd to be like in full force, right? In full form of yourself. But this is a space that, is meant to be a breakout of whoever knows whatever, right? We can do whatever here. So I encourage you to share, to tap in, to ask questions, to be in relationship to the other people on this, not just Hidari and I, right? Or to anyone else who might offer a sense of authority or information, for you. Because I have also heard, and I noticed this earlier, but we just had to get on the same page here. We have another contributor who I'm not as familiar with, but I know has been tapped to share some here. So I wanted to see, I think it's Lauren, and I'm not sure if you're still in the room. I think you are. So I'm not sure exactly when would be best for you to share, but if you want to either let me know in the chat or just share something sooner than later, open to what makes sense. And just wanted to like welcome that other voice that will come, and then we'll bring in the questions once either in the chat or we flow into what makes sense for our other contributor there. I'm just seeing Sarah pop into the video. Listen, thank you for the work. Thank you for the presence. I know you've been going all day, all week, all month, maybe a little more than that. So welcome. Thank you for being here and showing us your face.
Yes, just wanted to get the camera started. Good to see
Ice.
y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Totally.
Yeah, thank you so much. The keynote was great. So I'm excited to engage in discussion. We definitely want to hear from Lauren and hear her perspective. Yeah, so just happy to be here. Thank y'all.
Much, Sarah. Beautiful. Lauren, again, just down for maybe a chat or whenever it makes sense, because I already have like a loose plan, but there's openness there too. And so I want to just bring in, until I hear from Lauren or you tap in on the audio, either way. Wanted to bring in one of the first questions that I had from post keynote, and encourage folks to take it wherever, and also encourage us to talk, as folks are feeling open. I know I was recently made aware that the video not only be recorded but is live streaming. I'm not sure where it'll be shared, but I do know that our conversation will be made rich by whomever is a part of it. So I want to bring the questions forth. So we're going to go backwards. That's the third question that we kind of offered, and I think that's a really beautiful place to start, actually. There's really no right way, frontward, backwards, all that kind of energy. But that is one question we wanted to offer that I think I thought it, based on the conversation, it might make sense to like end up there, kind of, because I'm not sure of everybody's energy or like, knowledge about trans folks. But like I said, let's offer them, and then we can start back at number one, because that way people can pull up into the questions at the space and the stage that makes sense. So I'm going to paste number 2 real quick, so folks can see. And then I really encourage anybody to tap in around whatever feels real to you. But question 1 was something that I thought might be easy to start with. But I do love the idea of like being able to sit with the other questions. And yeah, so period. Right? I think I might have had them in a weird order then, because there is one other layer to like one of the questions. I think there's there's like a couple parts to some questions. But one has like a couple parts. I'm gonna paste a larger chunk of one that is kind of connected. Because I think actually, sorry, that was number 2. That's what happened. So you posted number 1, but it's number 2. So here's another number 1, just for that. Why not? So 1 is, and I think potentially a really beautiful entry point, right? Where are you already participating in projects that are living up reparations, right? And helping repair folks' relationship to the built environment, knowing that it comes in many forms, and also that we might have a contributor right now before you start to share those. Welcome, Lauren. You trying to pop in? You trying to pop up? Oh wait, we can't hear you very well. I hear something happening though. Can you try that one more time? I'm gonna bring you up.
What's your audio settings look like if you hit the little that little arrow by your
Yeah,
mute?
the arrow by you look you're on your phone. That's real.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you pull up, if you just press the top, it should say like speakerphone or like regular phone. That should be one way to double check.
Now?
Better, yes. Okay, come on in. Come on in the room, love. How you doing? Oh no, can you hear me? We can hear you better. Oh, you can't hear us? Okay, try it again because we can hear you. Okay, cool. This
And
is
now
great.
we can't hear you.
Yeah, she can't hear us either, so we're gonna get into it. But
This is Lauren's mother.
there we go.
Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Great.
Good. I'm honored that my daughter allowed me to participate in this. Something new for me. A mother's love for their child. You don't want to lose them, so you try to participate and understand. So I'm honored to be able to speak to you guys and learn a little bit more than, we have great conversation. But I just want to let Lauren know that I love her very much. One of my apples out of two. And I'm proud of the person that she's become and that she feels very good in her skin. And I love you.
Shay, okay. Listen, Shay, thank you for being here. I'm so just honored to have your presence and your voice and your energy in this conversation right now. So, Lauren, are you able to hear us again? Okay, beautiful. You heard your mama's love coming through loud and clear. Okay, beautiful. Let me know if you can unmute now so we can see if we can hear you because you're on mute now. So maybe this will be a new opening here. Yeah, it's still a little muffled, so maybe if you just project, we can keep this setting up and just make the most of the setup. I don't want to lose you again. Try it again. Nah, you went away.
Is your phone sitting on something? It sounds like
Something like against this.
speaker is muffled or something.
No, the first way you had it was better than whatever's going on right now. Yeah.
That's
You're sounding so far away. Yeah. Are you maybe close the Zoom and come back? I think I saw you do that earlier. And while you're doing that, maybe I can chat with your mom. And I
do
didn't
you
hear your
have,
name. Lauren's mom, but
Lauren, if you have headphones, that may help as well.
yeah.
Or earphones.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. um, Lauren, while you're, Lauren's mama. I don't know your name, but while you're,
Tyla.
what is it?
Tyla.
Tyla, Miss Tyla. So lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Yes. Um, I am just so grateful to hear that that is where you're coming from, right? And I know that we are very familiar with other stories that many of us experience. You know, my parents still coming around and along in the ways that they are. But I'm just wondering if your presence here, were you able to join the keynote earlier too?
No, I got the Zoom meeting just about a half an hour ago. I didn't, well, Lauren has told me about it like for a week now, but the join meeting number that I got, it just joined me in this one. I'm sorry.
No,
So
no, no.
you'll have to send me, I put my email address in there.
You're good.
So I would like to join again, and I would like to know more about you guys and what you represent. And, if there's other parents out there who struggled at first with their child, one being gay, and then two transitioning into another person. I miss my son, but I am joyed and something it was getting used to, but I'm very proud of my baby because she has brought so much out in me and an understanding that you have to love yourself. And I guess that was one thing that I didn't understand. And I think that I put pressure on her for years to not come truly out and be who she chose to be because she thought I would be disappointed, maybe embarrassed. I don't know. We get into a lot of deep conversations and I enjoy, and it's brought a lot out in me as a mom. And, having unconditional love, I've always had that for my children. But Lauren has said, Mom, you didn't have unconditional love because if you did, you would accept it sooner. But as a mother and you have a son, you want your name to be carried on. You want babies, you want grandchildren and things like that. But within that, I had to learn that Lauren loved who she was becoming. And I had to do that too. And I had to change my train of thought. And as a mom, you don't want to hurt your child. You need to understand them. I feel like in times have changed so much from, I mean, I'm only 21 years older than my child, but so I got to grow with them. But something like this, I didn't know that I was ever going to have to experience. And now that I'm experiencing as a mother, I'm learning. And my thing was, I didn't want my child to be put in hurt, harm, or danger because there's ignorant people out there. And that was my fear. I think that was my fear of truly Lauren becoming the person she has, because there's still people who hate and they don't understand that. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
Lauren says she got the headphones, so she should be good to go.
That's totally real. I mean, that's great that they're headphones. And also, just to acknowledge what you were saying, yeah, there's so much nuance in there, right? And I
yes.
appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate your just cohesion of your story that you already shared. And I want to welcome Lauren back in case the audio is going to give us, the full Lauren. Is that going to happen? Lauren, can you hear us? Because we can't hear you. Oh, look, come on, headphones. But no, they're not trying to give, okay, they're not trying to give the fullness of you. Which is so sad. Remind me of your name. I'm so sorry.
Kyla.
Can you put it in the chat? Because then I can see it and make sure I get the exact letters.
You know, I'm not computer savvy. So where's
no. For me and for us so we can get the consonants, because I don't want to get it wrong. Which letters, the internet.
It's so okay, I see it. Here it is. Okay, hold on. Only okay.
And I'm hoping that the audio on the phone will just cooperate so we can hear from you, Lauren. And I see you coming back in now. But as we transition back to hopefully hearing from Lauren and just taking in what Mama was saying, like, there's a range there. I heard, right? There's a range of like self accountability. There's a range of desire for safety. There's a range of personal growth, right? That has resulted. Tyler, perfect. Thank you. I was like, I didn't know if it was Kyla. Beautiful. So there's so much there that, like I said, I'm grateful for you bringing in the room, honestly. And Lauren, if you can tap in anytime, you're welcome to join back in. And I actually also
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Keep it just like that. Whatever you're doing, keep it just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yes, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I want to start off by saying thank you for inviting me to this. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and let everyone hear my story. And thank you so much, Hadari, for the meditation in the beginning, because I definitely felt that. I'm kind of new into my spiritual journey, so that was everything for me. And thank you so much, Mom, for your kind words. I really, really, really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So start me off. My name is Lauren DeLucci. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm the owner of Galore Girl. I install lace front wigs and, a traveling makeup artist, hair stylist. I started my business in 2017 and currently still doing it to this day. In 2018 and 2019, I had the opportunity to vend for the Columbus Community Pride. So that was another thing that I've done. But I also want to start the conversation off by saying rest in peace to one of our fallen angels. Her name is Paris Jessup. She died a few days ago from Dallas, Texas. I don't know the story behind it so much, but she's a trans girl that was just murdered in a hotel room. So I definitely want to shed light on that a little bit. I talked to a few different trans women, and they wanted me to talk more about the safety of trans women in all areas, predominantly Black ones, because it's already we've already been in a state of emergency since a while, but since I've been doing my own research from 2017, it's been bad since. And then by me being a trans woman, and um, I think that's where a lot of my mom's fears come in, is because of me wanting to experience life as a trans woman, but her also knowing that at any time something can happen to me, and it's not the the situation can't the situation excuse me, I'm tongue tied, but the situation wouldn't be my fault. It's more so on people's own hate and stuff. So I really don't know how to start and where to start for the safety of Black trans women in their own cities, because I haven't mastered it in mine. Um,
I feel that, and I appreciate you starting where you starting, and I'm glad we can hear from you. Honestly, I'm
I
still
think,
so mad.
thank
Okay,
you.
listen, welcome. And as a fellow Midwest resider over here in St. Louis, Missouri, okay,
Hey,
people I love that have come through and come from Columbus, so I appreciate you for setting up shop and doing what you're doing over there. Okay.
thank you.
Absolutely. I want to bring Hadari back just to the internal conversation, not because I want to not have anybody else continue to talk, but just to give us all, some stage time. And for
Okay.
Hadari, you might have something you want to share, particularly around, acknowledging Black trans life, Black trans women. I didn't know if you wanted to bring in anything just in terms of how you've learned and what work you're doing to help people, be safe around you in the ways that you embody a safety for folks, while we think about how we can bring the conversation more fully forward.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Uh,
you, Jerry, and yeah, thank you, Lauren. Like, just uplifting your life, period. That you're here, and also uplifting the loved one, Paris. I didn't catch their last name, but yeah, I know, like, in my own process, because of the ways that violence happens so regularly, sometimes it can feel like folks are just names, and I know they're not. And so I just want to, in this moment, presence that for all of us, the weight, the beauty, the details, the imperfections, all of it, of that being, and just uplifting that their life was never in vain. And just that, like, everyone that they touched and connected with, that essence continues as we all continue to make more space for safety for ourselves and for each other. And I just want to uplift that and uplift your life, Lauren. And yes, business owner.
Thank
But
you. I appreciate it.
yes, absolutely.
But to piggyback on what you said, her last name is Jessup, Jessup.
Can we put it in the chat? That would be, I would just love to be able to
Yeah, I
tell her.
heard you said her first name one more time.
Paris.
It's Paris.
Paris, got
Last name Jessup.
did I get it right in the chat there?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Hadari, for calling her name forward, and obviously Lauren for bringing her forward as well. Like as Hadari said, it can be, one of the things that I brought in on this tip was like, where are the trans women in this conversation, right? And I was checking in with urbanists, I was unurbanists, and I was like, who you got to bring in this space? Because I'm not here to talk about people. I'm here to talk with and among people, right? A lot of times, because the only time people hear about trans folks or trans women specifically is around violence, right? I really push people to talk about relationship. How are you in relationship to people? How are you caring for people? Where are they in your life? I said it's really beautiful to have you here, period, because there's
Thank
just a
you.
lot to learn from you and to grow in alongside you. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you want to share
And me
another
as well.
layer, Lane? Go ahead. Yeah.
And me as well, because I honestly, um, I haven't honestly put myself out there. It took for me to, I guess, transition for me to start seeing myself in the light that I wanted my old self to be. I never looked at myself like I was speaking in front of people or speak to people about my life, because my story is only one of so many that's always the same, kind of. As far as having a parent in the household that you have to, uh, in a way, have respect for it, because that's your parent. But in the same way, I also looked at myself as, when do I get to say so in my own life? So then now me speaking in front of people, because I honestly feel like I have anxiety and different things that come with being new to transitioning, be feeling like feeling like I'm clockable, and feeling like sometimes I might be doing the wrong thing and stuff like that. But there's definitely having a reassurance from my family and seeing my family give me the love and support that I'm owed, and I won't say I'm old, but I just feel like I'm owed it because we're family. And just to see it now, I can forgive and move forward and um, work on better relationships with different people. Because, like I said, to piggyback on, um, I haven't done enough as a trans woman to get anything out there. And me coming into this group, I'm here to start the process.
And we give thanks, okay? We need you here. We're grateful that you're here because I want to say, number one, there is no enough. You are good. You are present. You are well. You are wanted, needed, loved. I understand that, especially earlier in a transition, in a kind of like a representation to people, you can feel like there's some sort of like peer, like thing you're making up for or something. And what I just want to
Yes,
say right now is like you are right on time. Okay, because people gonna be saying that all the time forever, and they gonna want from you things that you not gonna need to give them. Want to give them, need to give them. It's not your responsibility to give them. Okay, and I'm not trying to preach or nothing. I'm just saying, I just want you to know that I'm gonna offer that affirmation because as a loved one to many
thank
trans
you.
women in general, period, like you are now in this life where people are gonna want things from you that you don't owe them, and that's a part of your journey is to say no, thank you. You could get that from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And it
I
might not
definitely do.
super safe for you to say that exactly how you might wish to. So I want to acknowledge that as well. But I want to name it that you deserve it, right? That you don't have to owe yourself to anybody. Your body is not an apology, as Sonya Renee Taylor said. And you get to be how you want to be. You don't owe nobody nothing. So we just starting from there. I just want to offer that. Is that all right?
Yeah, thank you so much, J. Marie. I really appreciate that. I
Period.
really appreciate that.
And then we're gonna get you connected to the people, hopefully, saying maybe you already know them, but we can get you, wide in the community because I will say right now, right, as somebody who I think people may learn from me in like this gender conversation or whatever. I was a teacher, I did kindergarten, fourth grade. People feel that energy from me, but it's still very different walking into a room as a trans woman, right? And often
Yes,
my experience is that the only people who hold trans women are other trans women. That's my experience. And I want
yes,
to be in the number of people who help, but it's still different. So I just affirm that that is a community that you seek, and I understand and want you to have that. And so, however, I can be a support to that, however, Hardari or the urbanist can be a support to that. That's a beautiful space to also have access to. And I hope that folks in the chat are doing the same in their lives, right? Not just for you, not in some kind of fake way. I met you on a Zoom. Now I'm your best friend. I'm gonna do everything for you, fundraise everything. We want people to show up, but I do want you to just know that that's real. And also, my work is to push more people to be in that number. So it's not just we only got each other. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
But I wanted to welcome you to say more too, in case, as we have about 10 more minutes, of main time. We could go a little longer, we could go a little shorter, but are there other things that are on your heart right now? Whether it's a question, you don't got to be an authority here. I'm just saying that right now. You are authority of your experience, but you don't have to be, I'm saying, on display. You could really offer a question, a comment, ask us questions if you want, or if you want to ask your mama a question, put it back on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Just how you feeling? You want to
Well,
share?
I'm going to put Lauren on the spot because Lauren underplayed herself because she is caring, giving. She does do a lot for other individuals, whatever situation they are in life. So stop downplaying your heart and what you truly do. Now you can be a little JA sometime. I'm going to say that out loud, but don't downplay yourself because you are caring and giving and you do a lot. You just don't accept what you do for other people.
Mama coming with the facts.
Well, thank you. Sidebars to that, are there any, as far as trans women's safety, are there any laws? Are there any new laws or in the Midwest or in the Ohio area that anybody knows of that um, are coming into protection for trans women?
A really, really, really good question. I encourage people in the chat to offer what you know because you are here not as passive witness, but as rich offering what could be. So I could share my knowledge of how laws work, but I wanted to make a little space or just see Hadari or other folks want to offer something before I break out any legislative conversations. So what I can share that I do know. So I used to work for a statewide organization in Missouri, and
Okay.
my job was to like build a statewide kind of organized force around gender and trans folks specifically. And the way that it works in this state, I wasn't a regional person, so I don't know everything about Ohio, Idaho, Iowa. I don't know everything about it. But many of our states nearby this part of the world are in the same situation where we don't have statewide protections. Like we can't work in one city in the state and work in another city in the state, maybe the same company, if they don't have protections in the state constitution type of energy. It's cool to have the city and to say you can't get fired for this or that, right? But a lot of times it's about 30 states that don't have gender and sexual orientation protections in terms of presentation. And a lot of times what that means, right, is that you can get fired or you can have something happen to you and people will let them off, basically, right? Because it's not really an agreement legally that has been made that we essentially want to protect you, want to protect trans folks, want to protect us, those of us who are experiencing gender as like the primary way that people interact with us. And so that's the bad news, right? And what I would say is the good news is that because of these legislative attacks, there are growing pockets of resistance, right? There are growing pockets of folks who are recognizing the ways that it does matter to have these things on the books, right? We can't just all escape to California and New York and just live a better life. Some of us are going to be at home. Some of us are going to be around these parts. Some of us like living here, right? And so the work of building a statewide, kind of force is important regardless of the organization, regardless of the season, the legislative problems. But unfortunately, that is the bad news. On the 30 states don't have protections. And then just to kind of connect it to the national conversation, if y'all have ever heard of the Equality Act, that's basically doing what these statewide laws want to have, right, around like state gender and sexuality protections, doing that on the federal level so that nobody, no matter where you live, where you work, you can't get fired, you can't get kicked out of your home, you can't lose your housing for being HIV positive, any of these factors that often tend to go with being trans and queer, and having a sexual orientation that's different from what the masses think is normal or whatever, which I'm pretty sure we're beyond that. Shout out to Gen Z pushing us forward, right? And all of our work, those of us who are surviving in these spaces now. But the Equality Act is basically what that is. And what I would also say is just, I think the work you're doing culturally, the work you're doing to take care of folks, as your mama said, right? That to me is almost just as important, because what I've witnessed is like a lot of these legislative conversations, I'm just gonna be real, right, are very white, right? Are very like fragile, honestly feeling like fragile white people just like don't know what to do when somebody said the wrong pronoun. Like that's really the level that a lot of these conversations are at. And that's not the level that we engage in our lives at. People gender us all the time. People disrespect us all the time. It's a different conversation when it's black folks, brown folks, you know what I mean? And so I just want to name that the cultural work that you are doing, the ways that you just take up space, the way that you do your hair, the way that you pushing, beauty and making sure that people are their fullest, most radiant selves, like that is just as important, because the ways that we can connect with each other and the ways that we can empower each other to both feel and be beautiful and in our full power is actually the work that's going to turn this generation towards passing those bills. Because right now the people legislative conversations, they don't know us, they don't know what it feels like to be us, they don't know what it feels like to be free in these bodies. Okay, so that's the arc of it that I would offer, is that there's work being done, but many of us have not felt connected to the state work, right? And it's the same way that like we have these midterms coming up in November. Many of us are not feeling super excited about some of the election work in general, let alone, the disappointment that we feel after we elect somebody and they don't do what we want them to do, right? So all that said, the cultural work, which is part of my music, part of why I offer things in the ways that I do this virtual tour, is because I have things to say legislatively and rules and laws and stuff, but I also want people to know we not waiting for y'all. Okay, we gonna have people been fending for themselves, right? You, Lauren, I know you strong, you clear like about where you can go and when, and you do that math for yourself, right? And we want to reduce the amount that you have to do legislatively and legally, but it also is a cultural and community neighborhood agreement that people need to make keeping you safe. We right now don't have the mass kind of power, the mass engagement around this issue, and the more people see it, it's bigger than visibility, right? It's not just about being everybody's activist because you all this, they give them the answer just because you walked in the room. That's not what it is, but the ability to like name that somebody is learning and grateful for your presence, the way you stop a room, the way that people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that, right? The way that even your mom had to come around with like, what are the possibilities when you embody in this way, right? So I just want to name that you doing the work I think you need to do. And hopefully this conversation will encourage folks on the call, yourself and everyone else included, to think about how are you both building power with folks on a cultural and relational level that can then be scaled to city, state, and national levels.
Thank you
Hadar,
so much.
yes. Thank you for asking that. And let's just keep building. But I know we have about 5 to 7 minutes left just in terms of like coming to a beautiful close. I think there might be room for folks to stick around for a little longer if you want to. But how do folks want to use this last 5 minutes? I have a song I could play that's called Here, Queer, and Staying that honestly has a space for the beginning of the song is about, we've lost a lot of folks. There are new folks that often are passing. And we want to keep making sure that people know we're here, queer, and staying. It's a thing I can offer as we wrap up, but I wanted to create some
Definitely.
words. If folks want to sign off or offer that, we could transition into that for an ending. But what do folks want to say to sign off and welcome people in the chat to do their work, or how do y'all want to close up?
Well, before you sign off, I just wanted to learn or know how that I can keep joining, being educated, and learning my child more.
What a beautiful question. Thank you for offering that. Hadari, do you have anything off top? I can think of something, but I want to create a little space real quick for you to tap in what you might say as a person with people who love you. Check out for you. I've had to learn.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you, Mama. Yeah, I'm grateful for your presence and your activeness. I can feel your willingness to want to learn, Lauren. And I just want to affirm that and appreciate that. And I also appreciate you for also asking for support to learn outside of learning Lauren interpersonally. Because I think as somebody who's still working through my relations with my parents and yeah, my dad in the astral realm, my mom who's here, and also my aunties and uncles and stuff, I'm still moving through that dance of like, man, I don't want to have to teach all the things. And so I appreciate you also being interested in asking for other places and resources. And I don't know the direct ones, J. Marie, so if you have stuff like that, but I mean, YouTube University is pretty lit. Like going on to YouTube, it's cool on there. You can type in like questions, things like any questions you might have. Like Google and YouTube be going off. There are people who talk directly about their experiences, and I feel like something that's important about that is noting that like there are some general things, but also us as a people, as gender expansive people, trans women are incredibly expansive. And so there are specifics to each person and each being. And there are things that can be helpful to learn from other people's experiences too. But knowing that it's not like a uniform experience is really helpful as well. But yeah, YouTube, there's articles, Google, and just like gathering that information and, even like asking questions too, Lauren, which I'm sure y'all already have your own relationship, and I don't know how that flows, and only y'all know the intimacies of that. But like asking if you can ask questions and stuff like that. Like I'm open to sometimes when I feel like it, when I have the energy and the capacity to receive questions from my loved ones, and I appreciate that as a form of love. And knowing that there's some things I don't want to talk about with them, and so accepting those sacred no's from Lauren too. If there are times where Lauren's like, I'm feeling kind of tired, I don't want to, Mama, and just
Right.
yeah, all of that I feel is can be really, really helpful and supportive. And J. Marie might have some more resources. I just know, like in general, there's actually an abundance of things like that right now, like Google and even if Google and YouTube are great places to start, honestly.
Well, they made me get an iPhone, so I guess I can ask Siri.
Come on.
Yeah, Siri, Siri gonna take you to some places and people for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
It's throwing me back to the beginning of my journey with my parents, and when like as you said, it was a queer gay kind of conversation at first. And honestly, like I'm pretty sure I got my parents like 5 books for.
Oh, you froze.
Oh no! Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Am I still frozen? Because I can change.
No.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, cool. Shout out to the book list. Shout out to the next steps that might happen. I actually, those books are probably very outdated. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I will say that there are a lot of texts out there that are especially being written by trans folks. Specifically, I would encourage that, right? I know you might also find resources from folks who are, like Hadari said, I would say YouTube is really a great space. People who are giving information maybe as a straight parent, a cis parent, right, who are not trans. And so as much as that can be helpful, I just encourage you to learn from trans folks because that's often a space that gets skipped over because people assume that someone understands them better, right? Someone who has this experience of maybe growing alongside them might learn some things, but it's still important to learn directly from the source, right? while balancing that kind of input experience. And I could say that I'm trying to think like right off top. I don't know if you've heard the human rights like HRC Human Rights Council or Human Rights. What is the coalition? I forget their actual C word, but there are often I'm mixing up with the fact that there are human rights coalitions like in each city that's trying to pass these non-discrimination laws. But there is the HRC kind of national organization that will put out resources. Human Rights Campaign. Thank you, Anita. Organizations like PFLAG, Parents and Families and Loved Ones of Lesbians and Gays. Like there's a lot of resources that have been developing over the years, and
Yeah, we do have an organization here in Columbus called Be Quick.
yeah.
So that's another thing that I can get her
Yeah.
involved in.
I will say just on the front end, like Hadari said, there is a very rich reality that like people are often not always able to consolidate the learnings. And so it might take a couple extra searches, you know what I mean, to find them. It might be an Instagram find, it might be a YouTube find. Because if you think about it too, the people who are offering these experiences don't always have access to become this like content creator that's going to show up in your YouTube searches, you know. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 sometimes. But again, the beginning of the question and the way that you're approaching it is rich and real and beautiful.
Can I say one more thing, Jamie, before that just came up that I think could be helpful too? Is in addition to that, I feel like something that I'm learning and practicing within myself is really interrogating and asking questions about the ways gender shows up in my life. So, and I do that with the variety of different identities that I carry. So, for yourself, what does it mean? Like, what are the ways in which maybe you feel trapped and stuck and feel some tension within your own gender and identity? I don't want to assume how you identify, but whatever that is for you, whether you identify as a woman or whatever is present for you, being able to really like ask questions about that within yourself on the day to day, because that personal insight is where we can also find that foundation to understand that as Lauren gets more free, you gonna get more free too. And so like that is that's a self process too, of reflection of like, oh wow, how's that showing up in my life, or where do I also see that that's giving me more space, or the word is like privileges, people use the word privileges or advantages, but just where do I not think about it? Just letting yourself think about it within your own process and bringing that awareness can be really rich and supportive at times as well too. So just want to offer that as a practice too.
Thank you, because I think I grew up with stern parents, and then that projected on me being a parent to my children. So I was in such denial of my child until basically never disrespected, as far as this is what I'm going to do. This is who I am. I don't care what you think, because like I said, my child stopped her life because of how I felt or how she thought I felt, or I wouldn't be accepting. And when Lauren said, Mom, you don't have unconditional love for me, I had to sit and check myself that, are you right or are you wrong? And the way I was brought up, that's how I thought unconditional love was, to, try to be that mom, to, have you in counseling and have us in family counseling and do this and do that. But maybe I went about those steps wrong by forcing and not letting it just come natural. And, listening to, I think I heard my child, but I wasn't listening to the words. So now that I'm hearing Lauren, I'm getting more familiar with myself. Like, you know what? Maybe you could have done better. You should have, could have, but now we're moving forward with it and I'm getting better.
A beautiful journey. Important. I have a song that I put in the chat, but I was going to say a separate song. I have a song called I Wanna Love. And it comes kind of as a journey. I offer it here because similar to when I came out, my parents weren't really feeling it. They didn't know what to do. But I had somebody comment just yesterday on how I approached it, which is I had to create a little space, right? But the reality of it is here's the lyrics so you can kind of hear it. And I think I'm sure that there's some space, Lauren, maybe for you to feel like it resonates, and hopefully everybody feels something around it. But the goal is this type of love, right? So the lyrics are, I want a love I can get lost in. I want a love I can be found in. I want a love I can be me in. I want a love I can be free in, right? And I give those simple phrases because I think we can all sit into it. We can all spend time in that and seek that out. And I understand that it might not be easy, right? And that there is a baggage, there is a cultural, a black, queer, brown, like there's a lot that we got taught. And it is wild to be a part of a generation that is actively like unwrapping, undoing all of that. And also it doesn't always feel like teaching. It's like, it can feel like a catch-22. But again, I just feel like the way that you're spending your energy, the way that you're loving and coming across here, I know it's not the same as behind closed doors, how it all happens back at the house in town. But I feel like I want to affirm, that you're here, that you're learning, that you're trying. And that, Lauren, you, me, all of us, we're holy no matter what, right? No matter who comes around and knows how to love us, doesn't know how to love us. That's for us to project and to sit into and to continue to embody no matter what stage of our transition or life that we're at. And I'll give you a last word, Lauren, before I let the song play us out. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just appreciate you and all your words and giving me a space to have a little one-on-one with my mom that we kind of really never had, honestly. So I really appreciate that, and hearing my mom's words and hers hearing mine, and she's literally down the street from me. But thank you, Mom, for all of that.
Come on down the street. Come on down the street. My mama. So come on down the street.
Oh, I've been to the Yellow Brick Road in St. Louis before.
Wow, welcome. Well, Lauren, were you gonna say one more thing?
I'm ready to hear your song.
Oh, okay.
Me too. I'm excited.
Well, thank you all so much, and I hope to continue to be a resource for you. I think I didn't check the sound button. Let me do it one more time. I might be forgetting to do that part. One more time.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah and Hadari. I really appreciate it. I love the vibes. Thank you so much, Dave Marie. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, blacktranscend.com to find out more, to connect more further. That's my space. I don't promise the world, but I do try to be an on-ramp for folks. And so please enjoy this song, and thank you for being with us. Sarah, did you want to say?
One question. Is this the only Zoom meetings that you do, or?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
So someone else actually put this together. Sarah is one of the staff on that organization's 23-hour virtual conversation every hour. We just got asked to support this conversation. So I brought in her, and I do other things on this conversation, but I'm so pleased and grateful that y'all joined. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Sarah, did you want to say something before I press play?
Let's hear the song.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Camera's rolling.
If you can hear it.
Song is rolling.
Quiet starts quiet. Round the cycle, we still go. Morning, what we hate to know. New day. Wishing I'd have to see. So much death in front of me. More gone. School and home and work and play. The fight is always rigged their way. This pain is a job that's never done. See, but I can't change a game we all got to play. No matter what I say. But we can change the rules that we play by. Here's one that's non-negotiable. We're here, queer, and we're staying. We're here, and we ain't going nowhere. No, we're here, queer, and we're staying. And we're here, and we ain't going nowhere, nowhere, no. There's so much death out in these streets. We have had to redefine living. They've pushed us out and kept us down. You can't get away with this much longer. We're all up in your workplace, all up in your bathrooms. We gotta make a life just like you.
Said we're all up in your workplace, all up in your bathrooms. We gotta make a life just like you. See, but I can't change the game we all got to play. No, 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 no matter what I say. But I can't change the rules that we play by. Yes, we can. Here's one that's non-negotiable. We're here, queer, and we're staying. We're here, and we ain't going nowhere. No, we're here, queer, and we're staying. We're here, and we ain't going nowhere. No, nowhere, no. Nowhere, no, 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 no. We are here and we are queer, and we ain't going nowhere. We are here, we are queer, we are trans, and we ain't going nowhere.
I'm going to give us this moment here to read the screen and let this end our time together, unless there's comments after, but please just take this with you. We have names to remember, we have people to acknowledge, and I'll read this section here on the screen. It says, the slain individuals pictured here represent but a small fraction of the women, cis, trans, and GNC killed by misogyny, state, and domestic violence, who grieve each life lost, whether recorded or stolen away in silence. Trans and queer families slain, whether by one of the many violent systems at work or by suicide. You may be gone, but you are never, ever forgotten. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Yes, everyone, I said this in the chat, but we're going to end this session and start the Bill Aid Virtual Actions session that I'll be presenting on if you want to hear more. So please join on unreminisced.com or check out the YouTube stream. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
The next,
Thank you.
thank you for having me. The next time I learn how to put my picture up.
Come on, okay. We ready.
Next year.
And thank you, Sarah, for your compliment.
Oh, thank you.